It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
In the criminal justice system, sexually-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
I'm 20 years old and I have legal guardianship of a 15-year-old. And that 15-year-old is my lovely, amazing sister. Well, I still have my parents. My parents are still both alive. Do I consider them my mother and father? No. My mother and father are a disgrace to me. They are disgusting individuals. They are going to burn in the pits of hell. I am telling you, not because I'm being mean, but because they are. They are sinful. Sinful. Ever since I've had consciousness and like been able to retain my memory, my dad has been beating my mother. My parents have been together for around 20 years. I would say for the amount of time that I've been born. They've been married. They've been married for 20 years, divorced and separated for like 4 or 5 times. They are genuinely the most toxic duo I've ever met. When they are not fighting with each other, they're fighting with one of the kids. It does not matter. My parents have this type of like leadership in the house. Like my dad is in charge of everything, yet my mom makes all the money and he takes all the money. My dad has a history of beating my mom. He once literally slammed a TV on my mom and he threw a TV at her. He once threw a vase at her. He threw so many things you have no idea. My mom used to call the police on my father every single day, to the point where like the police recommended that she get in a restraining order. She got a restraining order for 2 years and then broke the restraining order a year later because of the fact that she wanted him home so he can pay the bills. Yet she was the one paying the bills by herself. When I was in the 4th grade, my mom basically bought a house to like escape that man. Like she moved all the things out while he was at work and he came home to an empty home. So I was thinking that finally they're gonna be divorced. This was when I was in 4th grade. I think I was like maybe 10 at the time. I was genuinely so happy and so proud of my mom for doing this. Just for 1 year later, she allowed the house to go into foreclosure so she can move back in with that man and have him control all of her finances and all of her assets. She literally stopped paying her credit card bills because of the fact that that man told her not to pay her credit card. And guess what? She has a 300 credit score now. My mom genuinely thinks that she's a victim and everything. But the thing is, for you to be a victim, you would genuinely have to not know. The thing is, you know what's going on and you allow it to go on. My dad, literally, the reason why I want to have guardianship over my sister is because yesterday my dad almost literally my sister. Like he genuinely almost they got into an argument yesterday about the fact that she needed to shower my sister. She was doing my sister's hair. And no one does my sister's hair. It's always her. My sister has been raising my little sister for the longest time. I didn't even know my little sister was born because of the fact that he was so uninvolved as a parent. He didn't even know my little sister was born until the day he came to the hospital. When my dad's not home, my brothers usually give my sisters a shower because like they're her older brothers. Like they can give her a shower. He basically went on a rant saying that men should not be giving girls showers, even though my little brothers are like 12 and 13 years old. My little sister is 6 years old, and like he's calling them men, and I'm like, they're little boys. They can give the little girl a shower. Like they're literally siblings. Like those are her other brothers. Like he can't do that. He even said that he's not allowed to give my little sister a shower. Man, you are her father. What are you talking about? That is so weird of you to think like that. Like that's literally what my sister said. That is weird of you to think like that. He got so offended by the fact that she said it was weird that he literally started grabbing her phone. He went on top of her so he can get the phone. And I was on FaceTime when all this was happening because I live like an hour away from them. And I saw everything went down. And then he jumped on top of her. She pushed him all the way to the laundry because my sister is pretty big herself. So she jumped him to the so she basically pushed him off of her, and he pushed him all the way to the laundry. And she basically pushed him on top of the laundry because of the fact that he was right on top of her. And then my dad proceeded to get my sister and try to push her down the stairs. By the way, there's 14 flights of stairs. He genuinely tried to push my sister down the stairs. My brothers literally had to come to her rescue and try to make sure she does not fall down the stairs. And my dad genuinely, when he gets angry, like he doesn't know how to turn it off. He's like a whole new person. Like he's not, because he really is the same, because he does not know how to control his anger whatsoever. But he basically does not know how to turn it off. Like he almost like my sister, like the day before, my parents were actually arguing. They are arguing and fighting. My mom left some bruises on my father. My father left some bruises on my mother. The black, it's the same thing. But When the police came, I called the police so they can get my dad and make sure he doesn't put his hands on anybody again. My dad and my mother came together and they told the police that my sister is the one that left all the bruises, and they saw my sister as the aggressor, and they took my sister and brought her to juvenile detention. Today she has 2 court case hearings, one for my father, one for this battery charge that this person put on her. Even though they're the ones that jumped her first at school, they got a group of their friends and their gang to jump my sister, and they're trying to press charges on my sister even though they're the ones that started it. My sister has had a history of just abuse in that house, a history of such toxicity in that house, because of the fact that we were raised in such a weird household. It's just a bunch of women that only center men. Whatever the man says just goes. That's the only thing. It's every single woman in my family shares the same brain cell, and they don't know how to think or speak for themselves. I don't think you understand. My dad has been lying about his salary for the past 10 years. My dad has been telling me that he makes $120,000 a year, because the fact that I genuinely raise everyone in that household and I have access to everything because I do everything for everyone. Literally, when I'm in college, my father would literally ask me to do his taxes, do this for him, because he's like, oh, since I was born in America, I can do everything by myself. So guess what? I looked up his tax transcripts so I can fill out my financial aid, and he's been lying to everyone for the past 10 years. My dad has been making actually less than half what he claims that he's making in salaries. If you're wondering if my dad has cheated on my mother, yes, he has, and he's continuously doing to this day. I don't know how much women he has cheated on my mother with, but he has been cheating on my mother for more than 10 years. Everyone in my family knows, and guess what? They don't bat an eye. They don't bat a freaking eye, and they expect everybody to be okay with it. Literally, all of my aunties and my grandma had literally told this woman, my mother, to leave this man. And guess what? He still says. And you know the only reason why there's more problems arising in this house? Because of the fact that he moved back in. Guess why he moved back in? He didn't move back in because he wanted to take care of his family. He moved back in because he wanted the free rent, because my mother had a second car that he can use for free. By the way, he doesn't pay money on the car. My mother pays the car. And the third reason, so he can get his green card. He also used my mother to import his 3 nephews into the United States. And guess what? They basically destroyed the house, and my dad is paying everyone's rent, all his nephews' rent, and he doesn't even pay the mortgage on the house that he is currently living in. Instead, he pays the rent for his nephews that he brought into this state, into this country willingly. Yes. My dad has called me a whore. He has called me a slut. He's called me nasty. He called me a pig. He called me so many things. Literally a couple of weeks ago, just because of the fact that I refused to pay my car bill, because I said it's the least that he can do. First of all, I pay my rent, I pay everything. I just don't pay the car bill because my mother told me that I should not pay the car bill. And guess what? He still called me, and my father has the audacity to ask me for $1,000. He literally asked my mother for money. He stole $3,500 from my mother last week because of the fact that he sent it to somebody in Haiti. We don't know who he sent it to, but we know he has another child because my mother already figured it out. He has another children. I hope you know my dad already has 5 children with my mother. Imagine how many more children with other women. So we are now going to get her out of that house, and today we're going to be touring apartments to just go get a layout of what we're looking for, and we have a budget in mind already. We are looking for a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment near her school, because we're also transferring her school because everyone at her school is giving her issues, and we are also going to be looking for somewhere very nice for me to start my business. I'm 20 years old and I have legal guardianship of a 15-year-old, and I wanted to tell you guys some things that my parents have done to neglect my sister and neglect her health. Many of you guys have seen the video that I posted before about why I'm gaining custody of my sister in the first place, but I want to talk about some things that my parents have done to neglect my sister as a whole and genuinely her health. Well, for starters, none of my parents have access to her health records, only I do. Since I was in middle school, I've been the one setting appointments for my sister because they refuse to bring her to the doctor. My sister is morbidly obese in a clinical wise. Clinically, she is morbidly obese and she has elevated high blood pressure. My parent, when she gets angry, she starts having really bad heart palpitations to the point where sometimes she will faint. My parents like to provoke her to make her get angry so her heart can actually elevate. Even though my dad has a history with also heart problems too, because he also has elevated high blood pressure. They are also trying to make sure she has high blood pressure too by also getting her angry. My sister had several referrals so many times from the past since she was born. She's been getting referrals to go to a nutritionist all the way in Boca, I'm pretty sure.
My sister has never once went to the nutritionist because my parents do not care. Yet at the same time, they fat shame her and call her all types of names when they are trying to bully her. Yet they have never once helped her actually lose weight. One thing I believe is that if you let a child get morbidly obese or you let a child get overweight, that is child abuse. Because why are you not feeding your children correctly? One thing about this is the fact that they always fat shame her, yet they never buy healthy food to actually feed her. They never once. My sister lost 50 pounds last year all by herself because of the fact that she had the discipline to actually want to lose the weight. And each time she would try to lose weight, my mom would try to feed her chips, juice, greasy foods. She never ever helped her with her health loss journey, with her weight loss journey. She has never once tried to help her be better. And instead she tries to make her worse, to the point where she has to gain the weight and they could bully her too. And you think it's just my mom? No, my grandma. They are all contributors to her having so many self-conscious issues because of the fact that all they do is just bully her and call her fat. Whenever she just gets a little plate of food, they always watch her and say, are you gonna eat all that? Why are you gonna eat all that? You're a fatso. They would literally call her a fatso. That is the nastiest thing you could ever call a child in Haitian Creole, and I do not ever stand for this. I have never once called my sister fat because that is sick. That is genuinely sick. And my sister grew up every single day from when she was at least when she was able to retain memory, to her being called fat every single day. Yet neither of my parents have ever helped her.
As many of you guys know, I am 20 years old and a guardian to a 15-year-old who is my sister. And I wanted to explain the situation of how my dad did not know that my little sister was born. As some of you, I don't think any of you guys know this, but I have a younger sister, 6 years old. All of my siblings and I were between the ages of 20 to 12. That is the youngest. But then my mom gave birth to my little sister when in 2019. None of us knew because she said she was done having kids. My mom told my dad that she was going to get rid of it, but she never did. She ended up taking the money for the procedure, and she ended up buying a couple of things with that instead. And for months, my brother always suspected that my mom was pregnant because the fact that when he would lay on her stomach, he would hear something kicking it, and my mom would just say, "That's gas, that's gas." Like she would lie to him and say it's gas. But I started thinking that no, 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 she can't be doing it because first of all, you already have 4 kids, you're already divorced, you don't really need another child. Come to find out, a couple months later, she starts buying a crib. She starts buying a couple of baby supplies, and I asked her, "Why do you have these things?" She told me that because her friend in Haiti, she wants to buy her a gift for her friend, and that's the reason why she bought all those baby supplies. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Be nice, okay, whatever. Then a couple months come. It's 8 months into her pregnancy. She calls me because I came back from school that day, and I usually come back from school at 4 p.m. My mom came home 4:30, and she said she just started crying to me, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she said that, "Oh, I'm going to have what's your opinion on abortion?" No, she said, my opinion on adoption?" And I told my mom, "There's nothing wrong with adoption. What's the matter?" She's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about She said, "Oh, you don't know, but I'm pregnant." I'm like, "You're pregnant?" She's like, and I said, "How pregnant? When were you pregnant?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give birth to the baby in a couple of weeks." And I'm like, "Huh?" By the way, I was 13 years old when this happened. I was literally in 8th grade, about to go to high school. I thought I was done raising all her kids because I raised all her kids growing up. So I thought I was going to be done. When I was done with high school, I could go off to college and not have to stress about raising any more kids. My mom gave my mom then gave birth to that child 1 week later. She said in a couple of weeks. She gave birth to the child in 1 week because my mom was I think 39 at the point where she was going to give birth to the baby. My dad, by the way, did not know that my mom didn't do the procedure. One thing about the women in my family is that when they're pregnant, they don't show because the women in my family are not slim in any means. They have a stomach. So you really can't tell if they're pregnant or not. So when my mom was pregnant, you really couldn't tell if she was pregnant. I did not know whatsoever. She would wear really baggy clothes. Some people even assumed that she could be pregnant, but she would always deny it because they've always been assuming. That's the thing. For years they've been assuming. So I just didn't pay no mind to it. Then my sister is born a week later. I genuinely did not know how to feel holding my little sister because I'm I was not able to build an emotional attachment to her because the fact that she came so quickly that I was not prepared for what was in front of me.
I then built an emotional connection with my sister after she was born, not when she was in the womb. And honestly, just living that experience was so interesting because the fact that, like, how can you just like go along with your life and not tell anyone you're pregnant, especially your kids? How could you not tell your kids? How could you not tell your husband? How could you not tell anyone? Why would you agree to do an abortion if you're not going to do it? Like, why would you agree to that and lie? And by the way, my dad found out my sister was born at the hospital. My mom told my dad that she was going to the hospital for a heart issue. She never said that she was going to the hospital for the fact that she was having a child. My dad came to the hospital expecting her to be like in some type of shots or whatever. He then sees a baby next to her. No, actually, he goes to the hospital. He goes to the regular ER. They tell him he has to go to the maternity. He's like, why do I have to go to the maternity? This man literally has not a heart attack, but he faints in the maternity suite because the fact that he found out that my mom had a baby from the people at the office of the hospital. Imagine that. And then, but after my little sister was born, my dad was not in our lives. After that, like, he was not taking care of the kid or anything. My dad became a part of our lives when she was like 2 years old, and the only reason why he became a part of the life was not because of the fact that he needed to take care of the children, but because it was during the time during COVID where like things were really rough. So like he decided to live with my mom and like live with us so we can like stop using so much money on bills. And so he wouldn't have to pay child support and he would just have to pay the mortgage, and that's all he would have to do. He literally just moved there because he wanted a cheaper rent. Yeah. And he does not take care of my sister to this day. Like, as you guys know, he thinks it's weird to give his little daughter a shower, which is already weird. He thinks it's weird that like brothers need to give their little sister a shower. He thinks it's weird for a man to change a diaper. He thinks it's weird for a man to feed a little girl. He thinks it's weird for a man to take care of children. So he literally says he's a man. He does not need to take care of kids. But yes, that is the story time of how I found out that I did not have a little sister. How I found out I had a little sister a week later after my mom told me I had her pregnancy for 8.5 months. As you guys know, I am the guardian to a 15-year-old at 20 years old. And I wanted, because some of you guys asked me, how was I able to move out of my house at 18 years old? And the reason why is because I did not tell anyone that I was going to college. Like, my parents knew I was going to college. My mother assumed that I was going to a college 15 minutes away from the house because she assumed that I was going to take care of her kids. First of all, I love my siblings, but I am not their mother. I cannot just like put my life on hold to take care of her kids. If you're going to have a lot of kids, you need to take care of them. I cannot do that. So I let my mother go under the assumption that I was going to go to a college 15 minutes away from the house. Each time that I'll talk about going to a college far away, she would always tell me to take that out of my brain. Like, she would say, like, she gets afraid, she's like, like, that's what she would say, like, in Haitian Creole. And I would tell her, like, Mom, you have to believe me. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not going to be here for college. And she would always assume, so I'd like let her assume it. And one night, it was May 12th. I remember the exact date. It was my day of prom, like the day that I had prom. And I did not go to prom, by the way. I bought a prom dress to make it seem like I was going to prom, but I did not go to prom. I bought a prom dress. I took photos to make it seem like I was going to prom, but I was in Miami. I went to Miami for prom with my friend at the time, and I told my mother that I was going to stay in a hotel with my friend for prom. She already got angry after I told her. I didn't tell her I was going to stay in a hotel before. I told her when I was at prom that I was going to stay at a hotel with my friend. This woman came on the phone, started berating me. I tell you, her and her husband. See, the thing is, I just wanted a day where I can just like go outside, because as a child and as like I became older, it doesn't matter what age I was not allowed to go outside. I was not allowed to go see friends. I was not allowed to have friends. I was not allowed to have sleepovers. Doesn't matter. I understand why I can't have sleepovers, but I was not allowed to do anything. I wasn't even allowed to text my friends, have friends' phone numbers in my phone, not have social media, not have nothing. I tell you, I was only allowed to go to school and work. And the only reason why I was allowed to have a job is because of the fact that my parents got me a job at my father's job, so my dad can watch me and babysit me at the age of 17 years old. I was genuinely not allowed to have any freedom whatsoever. Even when I was driving to school, I would have to tell my mom when I arrived to school, when I left school, what I did today. I have to tell her everything. They would genuinely track everything I did. And there was a point where like I became a little smarter than them. I was able to like actually get a little bit of freedom. Like there was a point where I like was going to my friend's house and like after school. Like my parents thought that my school ended at 4. My school ended at 11 a.m. because I went to a Broward college. I went to a community college for my senior year of high school, so I was able to like find a way for me to have a little bit of freedom. and do that. But yes, back to like prom night. So I was in like the hotel, and then my mom got on the phone and she basically told me that I need to get back home right now. And I'm like, no, because it's dark outside. It was literally 9 p.m. She wanted me back home right now. And I'm like, I can't do that. And then she got her husband, my father, whatever you want to call him, and she made him get on the phone, told me to get home. And I'm like, no, because I'm not driving at this time. You always say that I shouldn't be driving at night, so I'm not going to be driving at night. my mom proceeds to my mom and dad proceed to get on the phone and basically say the reason why I'm not coming home was because I was having a threesome with my coworkers. My coworkers, because my dad does not believe that men and women should be friends. He does not believe that men and women can be friends. I hope you know my coworkers were the ages of 22 and 27. I was 18 at the time. I had no business talking to these men. I did not have none of these men's phone numbers. I did not even speak to these men outside of hours. The only time I saw one of them was because at the gym, and we go to the same gym. And he was with his friends, I'm with my friends. I do not speak to this man outside of public. I don't do that stuff. He then proceeds, after he said that I was having threesome, he was calling me all types of words. He called me a whore in Creole. He called me a boozing. He called me all types of things, I tell you. He was getting me down. He was screaming at me so much. He was saying, don't, I'm going to stop paying your car. I'm going to make sure you never, I'm going to make sure blah, blah, blah. Like, he was just threatening me the whole time. And the thing is, I was the one already paying my car. So, like, I don't know why he threatened that in the first place. Like, he took so much shit on me. So that night, I blocked him. I blocked my mother. I quit my job too because they would never let me quit my job. I was working for a racist ass white woman, by the way, racist ass white woman. I was the only black girl working there. It was so uncomfortable. I genuinely hated that job. I quit the same night after I blocked them. I told her, no, I cannot work here. I literally said I quit. That's all I did. And that day, after that day, I blocked my mom. She had the nerve to still keep texting me through like blocked, and I had an Apple Watch at the time, so I was able to see my blocked messages. She told me move out, move out, and you know what I did? I had at the time that I had my friend, I asked my friend if I can live with her for just a month until I go to college, and she said yes. So like her boyfriend went to my house, and like my sister packed up all my things. The sister that I'm at the guardian for now, she packed up all my things and she put it into that man's car, and they drove it to her house. And I was able to live there for a month. And my parents were literally always call my phone, even though it was blocked. They would try to find a way for them to text me on my siblings' phone. Trust me, I know when my siblings are calling me. Like me and my siblings literally grew, like we were trying to save myself so much that we literally grew a code. We made a code for when they were calling me and when like my parents were calling me. Whenever like if it was my siblings calling me, they would always text me, and then like they would call me like twice to get off of do not disturb. When my parents would call me, they would just spam call me. They wouldn't text me before and say like it's me. So yeah, that's when I knew like my siblings were calling me, so I would actually pick up the phone. I still have a relationship with my siblings at the time. I'll even pick them up from school and drop them home sometimes, even though the fact that I did not want to be seen at that house, I did not want to be at the house. I live in a gated community, so I did not want the security guards to see me. I dropped them off. So like yeah, and yeah, and I moved back home like a month later after like they promised me they'll buy me a new car. That's the only reason why I moved back home. I saw an opportunity. I moved back home for the free car, and guess what? They couldn't stop me from the fact that like I was going to college. Like my parents knew I was going to college a week before. They bought me a car literally 2 days before I moved to college. And my mom asked me, so where am I going to college? I'm like, oh, I go to college in 2 days. And she's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, I go to college in 2 days. And she couldn't stop me because I already registered for all my classes. I already had my financial aid. I had everything. I registered, I tell you. And because of the fact that I raised everybody in my family and I did all the paperwork for everything, I have access to everything that my parents own. All their tax transcripts, I have access to it because they always make me do those transcript things. I have access to everything. I was able to do my fast food like a breeze, I tell you. Like when I tell you, I am so self-reliant on myself. I know how to do everything by
Mm.
myself. I got a full ride to my college that I'm at right now, and we are going to get my sister to do the same thing. We are going to get her a good full ride college scholarship somewhere, and we are going to make sure she stays away from that damn wretched ass house, I tell you. And to this day, my dad pays my car bill because they knew I was struggling the first year of college. They paid my car bill, and he would try to like threaten me to start paying my own car bill, and I tell him no, it's the least you can do. For the way you traumatized me, it's the least you can do to pay a $500 car bill. So yes, that is how I escaped to college and how I managed to get a free car out of it.
Welcome to part one of what the fuck I was born into. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw the video I posted about how my parents orchestrated a lie to get my sister sent to juvenile detention center. But I want to I want to start from the beginning and make you guys understand like the family dynamic that I am coming from. And like I want you guys to understand the backstory that led up to this and that led up to me gaining guardianship of my sister. And if you guys are wondering, I do not live with my sister right now. I'm getting an apartment and we plan on moving together in June. But she has to finish off the school year at her school right now. So she is still living with my parents, unfortunately. But I am getting her very, very soon. Don't you worry. I come from a family of 5. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. I am the oldest out of all 5 of them. I'm 20 years old. My sister is 15. I have a younger brother who's 13, another younger brother who's 12, and I have my littlest sister who is now 6 years old. She just turned 6 2 months ago. And for the longest time, we did not know my mom was pregnant because she hid her pregnancy from all of us and did not tell us a week before she actually gave birth to my sister. Honestly, it was probably less than a week now that I think about it, but my memory is genuinely like, I think like things come to my head like randomly, like certain things would trigger a memory about like my family, and that's how I remember all these things. My parents, they got married after they gave birth no, they got married before they gave birth to me, but I'm pretty sure the only reason why they got married is because they found out that my mom was pregnant, so they got married. And that's just a common thing to do in Haitian culture. Like if you're pregnant, you just get married. So yeah. And I remember I was born in 2004, and I think the abuse, I don't know when the abuse started, but all I do remember is that I started retaining my memory like when I was like 5 years old, and that's when I remember it started. I'm not fully sure that's when it started because I started earlier, but that's when I remember seeing it. But yes, and it was very abusive, I tell you. Then they started having more kids, even though it was an abusive relationship. They had my sister in 2009, they had my brother in 2010, they had my other brother in 2012, and they basically stopped at those 4 kids. And during this time, my mom, she was trying to find a house to live at to escape living there, and honestly, she had the right steps, and she actually had the confidence to actually leave. So for her to, when she left the house, she waited until he went to work, called the mover. She had a friend that had a big pickup truck, and when he was at work, he basically had the mover move all our things into this new house. And this was when I was in like the 3rd grade. I remember this vividly. This was genuinely when I was in 3rd grade. I remember her like making us pack our things, and like we didn't have to pack much. We just had to get our bags, and that's pretty much it. And then we go to this house, and I'm like, I think it's her friend's house. And then she tells me, no, it's our house. And I'm like, oh. She moved all our things so quickly, and then he came home to an empty house that had nobody in it. And during this time was the first time they actually went through with this. This was the first time they actually went through with this divorce. And by the way, the only reason why they were going through with this divorce, not the only reason why, but the person that helped them actually help my father give the suit to my mother for the divorce was my neighbor. My neighbor is this Haitian man, and he actually is my dad's bestie, or whatever you want to call him. He's actually even helping my dad trying to divorce my mom too. So yes, and that's what they basically did. They basically we basically moved to a new house. It was like 5 minutes away from the house. It was like a beautiful house, and we moved away from him. We thought we were going to finally be free of the abuse, until my mother let the house go into foreclosure, and she made us move right back with that man. And before she made the house go into foreclosure, after that she moved to a townhouse and started renting that. And then that's when my dad started appearing again for some odd reason. He just came back into our lives and was living in the townhouse with us while also having the house back home too, because he still had ownership of the house. And yeah, when we were living with our mom alone and she like moved out the house, she bought herself her own new car. So she had 2 cars at the time. She was also living with her friend and our grandpa, her dad, because they were also helping us pay the bills. They had their own room, and we slept with our mom in this really big master bedroom. So we basically escaped my dad just for him to come right back. And I remember each time that my dad would come visit me, like when I was at daycare. At the time, I was going to a daycare called Kindercare. That's what it was called. It was called Kindercare. I remember it because it was literally on Holiday Spring in front of my elementary school. And I remember like my dad would come visit me like maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and he would always bring me a snack. And they would tell my mom that my dad came to visit me, And each time my mom knew that, she would always beat me. Like each time like my mom knew that I was talking to my dad, whether it was on the school phone, whether or not he came to the daycare, she would just beat me for the fact that he just came to come visit me. Even though not even though, but like she would beat me each time that I saw my dad. And even what makes me angry about this is the fact that she was doing all that thinking that we were never going to see him again, just to get back with that man a couple months later and move back into the house with him and basically give ownership up to everything to him. And at this time when they were divorced, my dad basically was basically transfer messages that he wants us to say to our mother, to us, so we can say to our mother, and our mother would tell us things that we should say to our father. And it was just like a whole back and forth. It's like we were playing telephone, but like with real life kids, you know. And honestly, it was genuinely really annoying because anytime we would go visit our father, the only thing we would be doing is talking about how my mom is a bad person. Or when we were with our mom basically be talking about how our dad is a bad person. And at this time, like, it was genuinely such a headache. Even though my parents were divorced, this was honestly the best time in my life. The best time in my life is genuinely when my parents were like divorced and we're not seeing each other, we're not living together, and I genuinely had to deal with them separate. When they're together, it's genuinely like a volcano erupting, but when it's separate, it's something that you can't handle because that one person just talking to themselves. So honestly, it's not that bad. But then in 2019, when COVID hit, I remember the exact date. He moved into the house in April of 2019, and that's where things took a turn. Genuinely, a turn, I tell you. When my dad moved in on April of 2019, my mom found out some information that just like made them argue even more, because we found out that my dad basically sold my sister's soul, the youngest little sister. She was a newborn at the time. He basically sold her soul to do voodoo to a buckle. That's what they call like a voodoo witch, whatever you want to call it, a buckle. And basically he sold her with his mother to basically make money when it came to him gambling, because he was not making enough money like he wanted to make when it came to gambling. So he basically sold my sister's soul because they needed the youngest soul so he can actually start making some money. He sold my sister's soul to get rich. And that's basically what started me to have little flashbacks of when he used to live there before he moved back in during quarantine. And honestly, I thought that like them moving back, I knew it was a bad idea. I was like, why would you let him move back? She's like, oh, he did voodoo on me. Like, she's always using that as an excuse. Girl, stop it. Stop using that as an excuse. You wanted him to move back in the house. Don't be weird. Because she wanted him to move back in the house because she wanted someone to help her pay the bills more. And I'm like, girl, stop lying. And also, when they were divorced, he was paying child support. He was paying like $2,000 a month in child support. So she had more than enough money to be paying the bills and paying more things with the checks that she was getting from child support. I feel like she just didn't want to be alone. So she was okay with being an abuser because of the fact she didn't want to be alone. So yeah. My parents were basically getting into arguments every single day. My sister was getting sick from the voodoo that my dad put on her. And she had pneumonia when she was like 3 months. And this pneumonia genuinely caused her to start having nosebleeds. And by the way, she was only 3 months years old. She was only 3 months and she was getting nosebleeds. Like, that is genuinely concerning. And my dad did not give a single fuck. He did not give a single fuck that my sister was basically dying for her. Like, she was dying. She was grasping onto her life. Like, he did not give a single fuck. He did not take care of that child. He did not hold that child. Anytime that he would try to hold my little sister, she would genuinely cry. It's like even though she did not have consciousness when she was 3 months, I feel like her body just knew that, like, that is just bad energy. You can't trust that energy. And she just would always cry and cry and cry. And then he would always complain, saying that, why, this is all your fault. You made her not like me. You made her like this. You made her like this. Like, sir, she knows what you did. That's why she doesn't like you. And honestly, that experience was the first time that, like, he actually did something to intend harm on his actual children. Because before, it was on his wife. But now he was actually intending this on his kids instead. He moved back to the house. And now he's putting all of that frustration and anger onto his kids instead. Every Sunday while we were living in that house until I went to college, my dad would basically do this, like, voodoo ceremony thingy. and he would basically just like pour rum on all of us. So, and he would say that so we can have good wishes, but in fact we found out later that he was doing that so he can sell his kids souls, so he can make more money when it came to gambling, and so he can make more money and become rich. And as I said, when he moved back into the house, he started intending to harm on the kids instead. And he would also, like, he wouldn't, it would be both my mother and the kids, but he was more intending to harm on kids. In the next part, I'm going to start talking about, like, when it starts arising.
Yeah, look at your dumb ass, almost died. Dummy. I don't care, go ahead. Go ahead. Junkie. You got something to say? Who's the junkie? You're the junkie. You drink alcohol like every day. I know you're not telling me. Your wife tells me this too. You drink alcohol like every day. You're the crazy person. She literally said, you're the crazy person. I don't care. Good for you. I don't want to be here. I don't like you. Every day you want to start something with me on your life. Good for you. Good for you. No. Cause you put your hands up.
When the abuse started affecting us kids, it didn't really start off as like, oh, he was abusing us with his hands. It started off with like verbal abuse. I remember this was during a stage, like it was a very political climate in like the world we were living in. It was between like the Joe Biden and the Trump campaign. And my mother is a Democrat. My dad, for some odd reason, is a Trump supporter. Even though he was an immigrant at the time, he was an illegal immigrant at the time, and he was fighting with USCIS for his green card. He basically was a diehard Trump supporter. I remember this abuse started, like, he got to me like really bad, like mentally, because of the fact that he made like the craziest comment I've genuinely ever heard in my life. He basically, I remember Trump was basically saying that he's against abortion. And I asked my dad, like, this was during the time I was kind of very political. I was like, are you against abortion? He's like, yes. And I'm like, what if someone got raped? He said that if a woman gets raped, it's her fault, because why would you let a man rape you? You wanted it, that's why you got raped. That's what he said. And when he said that, for some reason, my head kind of did this, and I was like, oh. And I was able to see my father for who he is, not because he's my father. I saw him as the person that he is. I realized that my father was a sick and twisted individual, because only a sick and twisted individual can think like this. Who knows, they've probably have done this before or something, which is why they believe what they're saying is correct. Like, even though he did not abuse me when he said this, he made me feel very unsafe just being around him, because how do you feel comfortable just saying this to your daughter? Like, I feel like it was just a crazy thing to say to your young daughter too, because I was like 16 at the time. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And then it persisted into him basically talking down on women, calling women whores, calling women all these things. And then he would start to call me a whore. He would start to call my mother a whore. He basically would say that, oh, all we did was like sleep around. I was 16. I didn't even have my first kiss at 16 yet. Like, that's all the things that he would say. He would say that when he was gone at work, my mother would be inviting men over to the house, and she would be having sex with random men in the house. And she was not doing that. She was genuinely not doing that. My mother would act like a clueless damsel in distress, like she did not know how to do anything by herself. The only thing that her role was supposed to do was just cook and clean, because the only thing that her mind was capable of. She let him do whatever he wanted. He did everything, I tell you. Like, he would go out of his way and treat every single woman in that house feel like they're less than. I'm telling you. Anytime that we would do something well in life and like we would make money, he would just take it. he would just always take it. Like, it felt like we were living in a weird cult. My mother is still a part of that nonsense, but I am so glad that I was able to escape. But it genuinely felt like you're living in a cult. You are providing and providing and providing, and all he was doing was taking and taking and taking. Even though this was not physical abuse at the time, this was financial and mental abuse at the time. After he realized that he couldn't get to me as much, because of the fact that, like, as I became older, I started to be able to, like, say no and disagree with him. And when he would try to argue with me, I would genuinely just stare at him and not say a single word, because honestly, I live a life of a lot of silence. I love silence. I'm a quiet individual. I'm a very shy person. Like, if I don't feel comfortable talking to you, I'm not going to talk to you. So I genuinely gave him silence, and that made him really angry. So he decided to start bothering my little sister instead, who at the time I believe was in middle school. I think she was in 5th grade at the time. And he would basically find a way to get her, I tell you. And one thing about it, he got her until he didn't. Anytime that he would get home from work, he would always run up the stairs. And you can automatically tell if he's drunk, because if he starts stumbling on the stairs, that's when he's drunk. But if he's just like running up the stairs, he's kind of sober. And he's always kind of sober. He's never fully sober. He's just always kind of sober. But each time he would come home from work, he would knock on my sister's door, open it immediately. There's no point of knocking if she's gonna open it immediately. And he would basically say, what did you eat today? What did you eat today? And she basically told him what he ate. She's like, oh, why are you so fat? Fat so. Like, he would just go out of, like, every single day, he would find a way to insult her. She did absolutely nothing wrong. My mom was buying all the junk food. She had no choice but to eat this food, because the fact that, what are you guys buying for her to be healthy? You guys want her to lose all this weight, yet you are not helping her at all. You're buying chips, hot fries, cookies, crackers, juice. What are you doing? What are you doing? When you give kids access to all these things, what makes you think they're going to eat healthy? And also, he wasn't even giving money for grocery shopping. My mother was buying all the groceries, and he was just sitting back doing nothing. And even when my mom cooked, I hope you know, this man would genuinely get plates of food. He had a specific plate that he would always make us make for him. And this was also during the time where he said that my sister was his, like, he said that we were his servant. And he treated my sister like she was his slave, I tell you. Each time he would come from work, he would call my sister, he would yell at her, tell her, go make me food. And she would go downstairs, get this one platter, because he wasn't allowed to eat in a regular bowl because he did not like those. He had to eat in a plate, like a serving plate that you serve at a hosting event. And he would put it with rice, beans, and chicken. And he would make sure the beans were drenching. If it was the beans were not drenching in the rice, and it was not like flowing in the rice, he would genuinely start getting angry and throw a fit. And he would genuinely punch my sister because the fact that he did not get enough food. And this was a lot of food. This was probably 3,000 calories in one sitting. I hope you know that. So yes, he would always find a way to bother my sister, berate my sister. My sister would probably just get a small bowl of food, and he would just look at her, stare at her, and just look at her with disgust and be like, why are you so fat? Why are you so fat? Like, that's what he would always do. I hope you know my dad was not thin either. He was not thin either. He had a beer stomach. So I don't know why he was always calling my sister fat, when look at him. It's not like he's skinny either. It's not like your body is tea either. It became so bad that not only was my dad bullying her, like, by himself, he got my mom involved and said, why you make her get this fat? And she'd be like, I didn't make her get this fat. And then she would start bullying her on top of it. So not only were my dad bullying my sister for being overweight, they were also, they combined together. They came together as a team and started bullying my sister. And I think she was like probably 10 this was in 2019. She was like 9 at the time. What are you guys doing coming together to bully a 9-year-old? That is sick. That is genuinely sick. And they were shocked that my sister would retaliate because the fact that they were always bullying her. Genuinely, my sister has lived a life of such neglect and such, like, aggression and bullying that, like, you shouldn't be shocked that, like, she's able to defend herself, because she had no other choice but to defend herself. When you have parents who are against you from the day you were born, you have no choice but to retaliate and defend yourself, because the only person you could count on is just yourself. Even when I would try to defend my sister, because trust me, I spent my whole life sticking up for my siblings. I would stick up for every single one of them. I would stick up for my brothers, my sister, but mostly my sister, because I knew no one had her side. At a young age, I always knew my sister was neglected. That's why when anyone would give my sister love, more love than any of the other siblings, I genuinely would look at it and I would be like so happy, because she deserves to have attention from other people if her parents are not giving her attention. And I genuinely loved it, because she was getting so neglected. They neglected her health, they neglected her well-being, and they neglected her safety. They don't care about her, and it genuinely saddened me to see it as a child, because there's no reason as a child, like as me, like being 10 or 11 years old, I should be able to see like the fact that my parents are neglecting my little sister. And when my mother was out for work, or like when my mother was out for work and my dad was home, my dad would somehow try to find a way to like start an argument with my sister. Like she would tell him, like he would tell her to go do this, when she was clearly doing something and she was clearly busy. She would say, I'm busy. And she's like, and he always go on this little rant. Every single time we went against what he said, he would always go on this specific rant. You know how hard I work? I work 2 jobs. I work 90 hours a week. I sacrifice my life for you kids, and this is all you do for me. He would always say it, and that's the same accent. I'm doing the same exact accent. That is the same excuse. I sacrificed my life for you kids. No, you didn't. I sacrificed my childhood, my well-being, and my sanity to raise your children. You did not sacrifice your life. You did not sacrifice your life. You sacrificed your dignity for being the god-awful person you are today. When I moved out on May 12th of 2023, honestly, that was the day where I genuinely felt like I was actually born. I do not feel like before then I was actually alive and actually like the person I was supposed to become, because I was genuinely confined and locked into that damn box. Like it genuinely felt like I was not living anytime I was at my parents' house. It does not feel like I'm real. It feels like I'm being held prisoner there. Like even when I would go to school was genuinely my sanctuary when I was living there. I put so much emphasis on school. I would try to join as much clubs as possible. I was trying to join as much sports as possible, because of the fact that each hour, each minute that I can stay away from home is each minute that I felt like I had a life. School genuinely made me feel like I had a life. Even though I did not have much friends growing up, I genuinely felt like it was just like my therapy. Oh my God. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. School was genuinely my sanctuary. Like I found like maternal figures in the teachers that I had. I remember my favorite teacher. I miss her to this day. But my 4th grade teacher, Miss Agarwal, was genuinely a lifesaver to me. Like she was a very strict teacher. She was extremely strict. But the thing is, she made me apply myself so much that I actually had the confidence. Oh my God. What? Okay, I actually had the confidence within myself to actually apply myself, because it was the first time I actually realized, oh my God. Okay, it was the first time it made me realize that I actually had like intelligence. It made me actually realize that I'm actually a very smart and original person, because we would do so many projects and I would always be used as an example, because the fact that my mind was so creative and I genuinely felt like I was being seen. And not only just like Miss Agarwal too, but like when I would go to summer camp, I went to the summer camp in Coral Ridge in Broward, and I had this one camp counselor named Miss Sierra who also like gave me the attention. Oh my God. I hate crying about my past, because like I'm so good at dissociating that I hate crying about it. But yes, Miss Sierra was able to give me the attention that I needed, that I was not receiving at home. And honestly, that made me really feel seen. And going to school and going to like after school camp and all this genuinely felt like an escape from that hell that I was living in. It like, even though like that was considered school at the time, like I genuinely was able to express myself those places. I learned gymnastics, I did cheerleading, I did so much things that I genuinely had the passion to do, but my parents would genuinely not let me do it, because that would involve me going outside the house. And I was so happy that I was able to go to these places, because that was the only way for me to escape that terrible, terrible hell that I was living in. After I had to stop going to those, because I became of age to the point where I was too old to go there, I was at home way more often. And honestly, the times where I was at peace was when my parents were like at work. Like I was with my siblings at home. And I hope you know, like when me and my siblings were at home, it genuinely felt like peace. Everyone had their own little corners of the house, and the house, genuinely, you could hear a pin, like you could genuinely hear a feather drop. That is genuinely how quiet it is with all four of us living there. You could genuinely hear a feather drop. Like when my parents came, it genuinely felt like an earthquake was rolling. It was just so much. But like when no one was home and it was just us, it was so quiet, so serene. It genuinely gave us peace. And then all chaos would arise when one of them came home, because one would critique what's going on in the house is too cold, the house is too messy, all of this. Like, it would genuinely give us so much stress. Anytime me and my siblings went anywhere, we would genuinely stay together, like hip to hip, like we were glued at the hip, because of the fact that we just did not like being without each other. Like, we were each other's like safeguard. Like, without like you will never see any of us separate unless we're in class or something, because we are always at the hip. That is like how much like we have trauma bonded together so much that you can literally never see us like separated. Like, me going to college is actually the first time I've actually ever been separated from them, because we're not allowed to leave the house, so we actually have to stay together all the freaking time. Even in summer camp, we were always together at the hip. Like, we would always sit together at the hip, because the fact that we just did not know how to exist without each other, because the fact that we had to come together to actually escape the abuse that we were living in before. My dad would come home from work and just start bullying my sister. My mother would come home and start bullying my sister. Each time, my mother would, when she was angry at my dad, or no, actually, when she was not angry at my dad, she was angry at my sister, but when she was angry at my dad, she was angry, so like she was just angry at my dad and nice to my sister. Honestly, the house works better when they are mad at themselves, at each other, because of the fact that when they are mad at each other, they leave us kids alone. I love when my parents argue, and I love when they're hitting each other, because of the fact that they leave us alone. When they are nice to each other and are on each other's side, it genuinely feels like we're living on hell. Like, it feels like the Joker and Harley Quinn when they are getting along. It's fucking sick. I hate it when they get along. I do not like my parents when they are nice to each other, because that means they're going to be evil to us. And honestly, I'm selfish. What about it? I'm selfish when it comes to me and my siblings. I want us to be safe, because I know we can escape this. I don't know if they can escape their little dynamic, but I know that me and my siblings can escape it. That's the only reason why I love it when they argue with each other. Yes, my mother would come home and she would always find a way to argue with my sister. She would find a way to call her fat. She would call her a way to call her a disgusting person, a cochon. A cochon means pig. But she would always find a way to say anything about my sister. And whenever my sister gets in school, a normal parent will be able to defend their child. A normal parent would not let anyone just say anything about their child. Someone would literally critique my sister. Someone would say something about my sister, and my mom would literally double down and start saying more shit about my sister rather than defending her. Like, as a parent going to the school for a conference for a kid, you should defend your child, because you don't want the teachers to see the fact that you hate your child. You don't want the teachers to see the fact that like you come from such a weird household that they're so quick to agree with the teacher rather than the student. Like, there's some teachers out there that literally lie, and you are so stupid enough that you are actually willing to believe everything someone says, and not your daughter. Like, how do you not trust your daughter? You're the one that raised her, as you say you do. So why aren't you able to trust your daughter? If you did a good job at raising your child, and if you did a good job at being a parent, you should have no problem trusting what your child says. But because of the fact that you did not raise your child and you do not know your child, of course you're not going to know what the hell your child is saying, and of course you're never going to trust your child. So that's why I cannot understand when she goes to random strangers, she's like, oh, I'm such a good mother. No, you're not. Because if you're really such a good mother, you wouldn't be so quick to believe random adults rather than your own child, because you don't know these people, yet you don't even believe your own child that you gave birth to and you live with. That's just very weird to me. My sister literally got jumped a couple of months ago, all the way in August, and she wasn't even the one that followed. They were following her. The mother came, the child's mother literally tried to jump my sister as well. And instead of coming to my sister's defense, because people were literally threatening my sister and like genuinely threatening her life, my mother decided to side with the police and side with the mother that like is trying to press charges against my sister. My mother, it doesn't even doesn't believe a single word that comes out of my sister's mouth, and it genuinely makes me angry, because how are you as a mother not able to defend your child? Like, that is a sick thing. Like, not only does not get you physically, it gets you mentally, because then you realize not even your damn mother, not even your damn birth mother, not your birth, the person who gave birth to you, is able to believe you, is able to defend you, and is able to actually love you like their own. Because if you truly love a person and you truly love what you gave birth to, you would be able to trust them with your whole life. But the fact is, you're not even able to trust it. She has never once trusted my sister. Everything she assumes that everything that comes out of my sister's mouth is a lie. I hope you know, my sister is a very honest person. She's extremely honest. Even when she gets in trouble, she will tell you straight up, I hit that person. Yeah, I did. I hit that person. I did this. I did that. My sister does not care. She honestly lives such a life of nonchalantness that she genuinely does not care what the fuck she says. She would genuinely tell you the truth straight up. And my mother will always believe that she's just lying. I know my sister is truthful because she tells me a lot of things that she has no business telling me. So many self-incriminating things that she has no need to tell me. So honestly, I believe everything she says because I see the way my parents are. And honestly, it's just the least that I can do. It's just to believe her until she's proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. I don't understand the thought of like being guilty until you're proven innocent. Like, I don't understand that. Even when she's proven innocent, they still believe that she's still lying. Like, how are you able to live with yourself basically not believing a single thing your children tell you? I remember when I went to high school after COVID actually ended, I remember I started making friends because I felt comfortable in who I was. I felt confident in who I was as a person. I felt comfortable in the body I was in. I felt comfortable in my mind. And I remember my mom saw this. So she proceeded to go through my phone, find all of my friends, and call them and told them, do not be friends with me. I had to go to school the next day to all of my friends running away from me because the fact that my mom personally called them on my phone and told them to not be friends with me. And after she called them on my phone, she deleted the fact that I called. She deleted the call log that I called them. Yeah. And I remember there was an instance where I forgot what it was, but I was at camp and my mom basically got my phone and she broke it in half in front of all the camp counselors. And I was left with no phone. I was just left with a shattered screen in the back of the phone off. And this was an Android at the time. But she shattered my screen in half. Yes. And after she did all that, I had no friends. I literally had to make one single friend. And this friend was because, she kind of felt bad for me. So she, understood what was going on. But this friend later turned out to be a backstabber. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I had no friends because of the fact that she did that. That was actually an insane thing to do. But after this, oh my god, my head is hurting so much from this already. After this, when I got to high school, I was pushing myself hard to get into college. I was pushing myself hard, I tell you. I was taking straight AP classes, honor classes. I was even doing dual enrollment. I was doing anything to leave this godforsaken city and stay away from those wretched people, I tell you. I was joining unnecessary clubs, save the day. I was joining BPA. I was joining human resources. I even joined track. I don't like to run. I get abdominal pain. I don't like to run. And we had to run 4 fucking laps every single practice. So yeah. Well, my college essay was pretty amazing, I tell you, because after that, when I came home, I would still have to deal with them. at the same time. So what I did to like deal with them is genuinely get lost in books, because I wasn't allowed on my phone too much because my parents would just like look over to see what the hell I was doing. So I decided the best way that I could get privacy is honestly just get books. And that's where my like reading addiction started. Like I started buying a bunch of books off of Amazon. I bought like maybe 50 books in like a single month, and I just started reading every single day. And I started reading to the point where like I felt so confident that I started to write my college essay. I wrote my college essay junior year of high school I wrote my college essay like summer before junior year of high school, because I'm like, I'm gonna get my ass to college. I'm gonna get this. Because every single day since second grade, I was like, I'm going to go to college. Second grade, I always told myself, Florida State University. And then I realized what Florida State University looked like, and I was like, oh no, not for me. So I told myself my dream school is either Clemson University or Northeastern University. And I applied myself so well that I actually got accepted into Clemson with a half scholarship, but I didn't go because the fact that it was so expensive. I got waitlisted from Northeastern. I was still very proud of myself for the fact that I was able to apply myself and still have the opportunity to get off the wait list. But then I committed to, it was between FIU and U Miami, so I committed to FIU because the only reason why I committed to FIU and not U Miami is because of the fact that like U Miami was offering me to like go to like the campus in the spring, and I wanted to get out of the house immediately, because if I was not in college for a couple of months, that meant I had to endure the pain they were putting on me. So I was okay with going to like a less tier school if that meant I was able to leave the house quicker, and I did. And I'm so happy I did. And my college essay was so good. It was genuinely about the 7 lessons that I learned. I used the metaphor from the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I compared that to the 7 lessons that I learned in life, and I was able to make a stellar essay about that. And genuinely, everyone that read my essay genuinely cried because they got a glimpse of who I was. And to this day, I'm so glad that I picked up reading, because it actually made me get lost in the world of books rather than like get lost in the world that I was living in.
You do me love. You people read how many girlfriend you have. You bitch. Are you bitch? And you call me. You send me at the court. At the courthouse. You told grandma is my boyfriend. Yes, you nasty. And you nasty. You sent me to the court. You divorced with me. When you saw about your lane, you come back because you need a lane. You need a lane. I give you all. Fucking give me all. I give you all. Give me my child name. I give it to you. Fucking give me alone. You signed the contract for the divorce. You sent me the paper. Yes, when I go. I did. I go. Now you say you're not gonna divorce. You stop it.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
That's why I want. That's why I want. 2017 and 18 is not 2025 anymore. It's past. You nasty. It's past. 17, 18 past. Never again. 17 not really come back. 17, 18 not come back anymore. It's 25 now. You're gonna see it 27, not 17, not 18, not 17. All your family need respect mom and dad. Yes. Like you. Because you're the trash, I do trash too. Garbage. You and garbage, I do garbage too.
It's on the table.
As you guys know, I just became the legal guardian to a 15-year-old at 20 years old. And I want to tell you guys the story of how my mother essentially stole $10,000 from me my senior year of high school. I'm literally driving to a parking garage while making this story time. But I want it's really funny. It's not funny. But basically, I was working at my dad's job, and I was a hostess and then became a food runner. And while I was a hostess and food runner, I made money based on tips. I had this secret stash of like cash because we got paid in cash,
and I had the secret stash that I just kept storing my money in, and Fridays and Saturdays were the most days that I make money. So each time that I would leave for work on Friday or Saturday, my mom would steal it at nighttime because I worked night shifts. So at nighttime, I would come home, look into my stash, and put more money in there. And each time, I would see all the money missing. And you know how much money she left me each time? She always left me a single dollar bill. Like, I would put 20s, 10s, 5. I even put $100 bill in there once. She left me with a single one. All she does is leave me with ones. She never leaves me the big bills. I knew it was my mother stealing it because who else would have been stealing it? My siblings would never steal money from me. So I asked my mom, why do you keep taking my money? You know what she did in my face? She giggled and said, she's like, Julie, you know kids don't need money. You know kids don't need money. What the fuck do you mean? I was 18, about to go to college. What the fuck do you mean I don't need money? I need the money. And freshman year really showed that I really needed the money because I was struggling to pay my rent freshman year of college because of the fact that I did not have my money. And you probably might say to yourself, oh, she probably took the money to pay bills. My mother is a chronic gambler. She loves gambling. She has a gambling addiction, I tell you. My mom used the money to gamble every single day at 7 p.m. because at 7 p.m. she has this little spot that she gambles at each time, and the time that the numbers come out is at like 8:30, and she goes at 9 o'clock to go pick up her money. She always tells me, I'm gonna use your money, Julie, and I'm gonna pay you back. She never paid me back. She never once paid me back. She started getting so bad that she would call me when I'm in the middle of class at 11 o'clock in the morning and tell me to sell her $300, $200. One time, my mother had the audacity to literally tell me to sell her my entire paycheck, $600, to her so she can send it to her friend so they can gamble a bunch of numbers for her. My mother is not only sick, not only like mentally abusive, physically abusive, but she's financially abusive because she's abusing my financial future. She's literally abusing her financial future because my mother has less than a 300 credit score. I want you to get that in your head. Less than a 300 credit score. There is no reason why a person should have less than a 300 credit score. Last time she got me my car, she had a 555. She let that car literally get repoed because of the fact that she said, oh, Julie, I don't want you paying the car anymore. So I stopped paying it, and guess what? It got repoed. Now her credit score is less than 300. She stopped paying all her credit card bills because of the fact that her husband told her, oh, you don't have to pay the credit card. You don't need to do it. So she actually stopped paying it because the man recommended that she stop paying it. Like, the man's her financial advisor. The man is broke, and you're taking advice from a broke man. The fuck? So yes. And basically, she was still asking for money. I'm in college to this day. My mom had the audacity the other day, like a couple weeks ago, to ask me for $300. For what? Why would I send you money? The only people that I send money to are my siblings. Genuinely my siblings. If you check my Apple Cash history, you will only see my siblings. Cell history, you will only see my siblings. I will never, ever send money to that lady willingly. She even started guilting me to the point where she'll be like, oh, if you don't give me money, I'm gonna take your key from you. I'm gonna do this for you. When I was the one paying my car bill. And she threatened me by saying that she's gonna take my key. Yes. And oh my God, she would literally even take my card while I'm sleeping. She would take my debit card, go to my ATM, and withdraw money. Yes, and I wouldn't know about it until I buy something, maybe at Starbucks back in the day, and my card declines. Yes. And there was a point where I had no money in my debit card, and she actually got angry with me when I decided to get a credit card when I first turned 18. She got angry with me and threw a fit. She used all my money on my debit card, and then she had the audacity to say, can I use your credit card? I said, huh? I am not about to ruin my credit score for you, Miss Lady. No. So yes, that is the story of how my mom stole 10K from me. And I hope you know, each time that I would confront her about how she stole money from me, she would giggle in my face. There was a point in time where the only place that I could like store my money was in my car, which is the most unsafe place. But the thing is, I always locked my car and hid my keys after she threatened that she would take my keys from me. So she couldn't even go in my car to go look for it because of the fact that I always hid my keys. So yes, there's a point in time where I stored 1K in my car. I don't store money in my car anymore. But when I turned 18 years old too, I even made a secret bank account that had like up to 3K in there. And I was so happy that no one knew about this. I was storing money like I was like a fucking like bank, like a tax invader or something. I was storing that money, I tell you. I didn't tell a single soul. No one knew about that, the fact that I had a savings account until I moved out the house. And I told them, oh yeah, I've been saving to move out. Yeah, So yes, that is the lovely story of how my mom basically stole $10,000 from me at the ripe age. She started at 17 and she ended at like 18 years old. So yeah.
My mom beats my dad. They both beat each other actually. Like, it's not no one-sided like beating, bitch. It's like both of them beat each other. And yeah, both of my parents are weirdos. Let's start off with my mama. My mama is a pathological liar. Yeah. And my job, she thinks I don't know when she lies. Bitch, I mean, ma'am, I've been through this since I was, when I first started knowing she like lied good, it was probably when I was 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, when I was younger, my mom would just lie about the dumbest shit, like, and she still does to this day. She literally just lied to me yesterday about the dumbest shit, too. Okay, so some type of dumb things this whole lie's about. She would lie about like bringing you to the fucking store. Like, you could ask her to bring you to the store, like Publix. Ask her to bring you to Publix. She gonna be like, yeah. And then you gonna ask her about it again. She gonna try to like act like she ain't hear you say it. And then you will go to her again and ask her about it. She would act like she don't know what the fuck you talking about. And then she'll do like this little giggle thing. Like, when my mom lies, she giggles in it, like trying to fucking manipulate you. Like, she's actually a pathological liar. Like, that's why I could tell liars so bad, y'all. Like, she really made me know people who lie. Like, yeah. And one thing about me, y'all, I hate lying ass people. Like, if you got the nerve to sit up here and lie to my face, just know I'm cool off you. I don't even need to fuck with you no more. And that's why I don't fuck with my mama. I have not spoken to this woman in 1 month. And she keeps trying to speak to me, keeps trying to speak with me. Girl, I don't want to talk to you. Literally, I don't want to talk to the lady. I'm finna spend my time here till it's done. Moving with my sister. Like, I'm really fed up. I haven't even talked to my dad ever since that situation, him lying to the cops about me. Yeah, because that was weird. Now let me get on his ass too. One thing about my dad, y'all, I'm kind of my dad's daughter. Like, I got his temper. I'm not gonna fake off that. Like, literally, if you get me to that point, if you get me like, I do have heart problems. If you get me like real heated, I crash out and I don't know what, like, and after that I forget pizza bits and like what I did. Like, I literally black out. That's how you gotta get me so heated. They have got me so heated to that point sometimes to where I even forget what happened. And I just go on the next day like I literally I don't be knowing what the fuck be happening. But my job, I'm not gonna lie, when I crash out, when they make me crash out, when I come in my room and I get on my bed, I be having the bestest of the naps. Like, baby, my naps be hitting. Like, they really do. That's why I don't even be worried about it no more. Cause I already know, y'all, my job, I'm the only one of their daughters that they argue with for real. Like,
what it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog, man. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my player partner, Lucky Blizzard Deals, man. Your boy keeps it lit. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Let me know what y'all think about this crazy ass situation in the comment section, man. Hit the links down below. We got HiveMindLabs.com. We got Moog's Coffee. We got Opulence Scents, man. We got Custom_Freaks where you can get you a cup, you know what I'm saying? Get your Dallas Cowboys football season coming back, man. Look, man, Y'all want me to be honest? I was sick of this story. I was sick of this parents. I was sick of this dad. Like, people like, oh, Haitian dads is, man, I don't know what, I ain't never had a Haitian dad, but yo, I don't want this dad. I don't know if Haitian or Jamaican or Creole or American or African American, you know, or Caucasian. I don't give a damn what family you go through, man. This is no way to treat children. You know, I love my children to death, but ain't no way I'm gonna put them through this. No way I'm gonna. Now, I might talk noise to my daughter. You can ask her. She be like, Daddy, you always talking noise. Yes. Yes. But first and foremost, I encourage my kid. I push her to be better. Sometimes she say, I don't push her too hard. I'll be like, I make her realize that everything I tell her is for her to know that her worth is more than what she's applying. I would never, ever call my kid fat unless my kid is going to the refrigerator for a third time eating some cheesecake. Now, why is my kid eating cheesecake for the third time? Because daddy bought it. Okay? Now, my kid, she wants some cheesecake. I'm going to make sure she got some cheesecake. That's all there's to it. But I'm going to tell her, you going to run some laps with your big ass. Okay? I might throw a little fat joke in there, but I would never degrade my daughter. When I know my daughter's going through some tough times, that's when daddy kicks in. And I'll be like, you know what? Let me give my baby a hug. You know, when I see her, I'll be like, you know what? She need to feel me holding her. And I'm not going to give her a side, hey, good to see you. I'm going to give her a, hey, you know I got you, right? You mine, I'm yours. When I'm there, you there. When you going through something, I'm going through something because I want to know what you're going through. You gotta, that's when you love your kids. Now, I'm not going to love my kids enough to where I'm pushing them out or where I'm, because that ain't love. That the love has left the building to where you can't sit back and realize that you hurting your kids. You never loved your kids. Ain't no such thing as tough love when you're not actually loving them. You can love them tough, but you gotta also show them that you love them. You gotta tell them why you love them. You gotta tell them, hey, because I'm telling you, because I'm doing this to you, because I'm not doing this because we ain't whooping no kids, but because I'm being the parent that I'm being, it's because I know that I can see you doing better. I know I can see you catching up on your schoolwork. I know I can see you enjoying your day. I know I can see you having good friends. I know I can see you doing better. You know, I know I can see you just happy with the situations. You know, I don't know how many of y'all have had troubled children. I'm not saying they bad or I'm not saying they going, but things ain't always peaches and cream. So when you have a child like that, you trying to understand them and trying to get to the point where you're like, okay, this person gotta feel me. This person gotta understand, and I gotta understand them. You know, it takes a different mindset to be like, nah, my child, I'm not the ruler of this house. I am. But I gotta let this child know that when they come home, that this is a safe space for them. And the things that I do affects my child and her knowing that this space is safe. If my child don't come home and she don't feel safe, then where is she gonna go? Other than the streets, other than some other family, other than some knucklehead ass nigga. And I say that in not GGA word. As I say it with, I mean it. Because that's what she gonna get. She gonna get my black ass 20 years ago. And I don't want that. Not saying I was bad. I'm just saying I wasn't good. Now, all we gotta do is pray. I was looking in the comments earlier. Somebody said, are we sending prayers up for this family? I was like, you know what? That's what we ought to do. Because this nonsense right here, thankfully this sister has the wherewithal to handle her siblings with care. Thankfully, this woman had the wherewithal to say, you know what? I'm not going to repeat this cycle. Not everybody has this. You see, these traumatizing situations get passed on generation to generation. And we always talk about break the cycle, and sisters breaking the cycle. But you know what? The fact is, it might have been maybe 1 or 2 years that separated her from falling into that same cycle as her sisters. It couldn't have been that long, because I could tell you one about me personally is that I went to a predominantly black school, affluent black school, and the difference between me and my younger sister is that I went to an affluent black school and she went to the ghetto school. So the stuff that she may retain from being around those kids, we never seen the likes of that. And so that stuff right there, you know, builds up into other stuff that you can't even, you be like, man, why is this happening? But if you think logically, it started small as a child. She didn't get what we got. Is that my parents' fault? Yup, but they didn't make her like that. It just happened. It just happened to be like that. You know, my parents, my dad and mom, they could have been like, yeah, I ain't gonna tell you all our business, but I'm gonna tell you some of it. They could have been the type of parents that was like, you know what? We're gonna continue to live off the backs of others. I ain't saying welfare, I'm saying live off the backs of others to where we can't raise our own children and instill in them what we need to instill with them, because we not living that life. We not putting forth the effort. So I've seen us go from being well taken care of to we were always well taken care of, to not like, to like us trying to step out on their own. And I'm saying this because my grandparents, just like they had something to give. But my dad is like, we can't keep letting these people dictate. And then, you know, when you got a grandfather like mine, who's like, my house, my rules, and my dad is like, I'm gonna take my family and we gonna make it the best we can. And that's what we did. So then when he does this, and I'm not taking no shots at my grandfather and all that, because that's just how it is. When you, as a man, you got to be like, I can care for my family. And then bam, you know, we took a slide back and steadily built brick on brick until when my sisters, they never seen a full refrigerator. My older sisters and brother. Well, my brother, in our house, it was like, we had food. We had food, but when I could go into the house and go cook me some chicken wings, or I could make a chili dog, or we could go out to dinner at Charleston's, or, just stuff like this. My sister didn't want seeing that. It was me and my little sister who got the benefits of my parents' hard work trying to boop, 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 boop. And I remember, and I can remember, like, the time, we always went school shopping. We always went Christmas, got stuff for Christmas. But we never went to the mall, and my mom was like, yeah, you can get that. I don't know if y'all remember Platinum Fubu, but Platinum Fubu wasn't cheap. And the day my mama said, oh, you can get that one, and you can get that one. Oh, and you want the Jordans? I was like, Jordans? I want no Jordans, girl. Give me 2 pair of these Nike Cortez and some Chucks for that 1 pair of Jordans. I'm straight. And she was like, yeah, it's all good. But to go from you get 1 pair of shoes and you don't wear them after school, you go home and you change into those shoes from Ross. And I can remember like going to get football shoes from a garage sale to then going to the shoe store and picking out my shoes. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can remember that. But that's from my parents loving and actually being like, all right, we're going to take care of this. Do. But the one thing they always did, they always showed us love. They always took care of us. They made us feel love at home. Bruh, everybody don't get that. Everybody don't get that. And even if it was tough love, my mama used to whoop the shit out of me. I was bad. Don't look at her different. But she about like this big. Her whooping, she used to be, I'd be like, When she leave, I'd be like, God damn, glad that's over with. Jesus Christ, I couldn't fake it no more longer. But the fact of the matter is, like, I knew she loved me. I knew when those beatings came, it was because I'm doing all this to stop your stupid ass from keeping doing this. I'm stopping you from doing this dumb stuff over and over. Did it work? No, because I still ended up doing whatever the hell I want to. All I'm saying is, as I got older, the maturity started to set in. The things I was taught started to set in. The things that my mom and dad showed me, the love that they gave me in my heart, it's over here in my heart. That stuff started to show outwardly. So when I had kids, it was always, and I don't whoop my kids. Oh no, they get, oh, you pee on yourself, get on that toilet, you being bad. People like, you spank your kids? Yes. Just to let them know, this is out of love, okay? But they don't get beatings, but they get enough to show daddy mean business. When it's, you want a spanking? No. Okay, well, let's go. Let's do this thing. You know what I'm saying? Shower time. Time to eat. Time to go to bed. No more jumping in the bed. My little one, do, fall off the bed, bloop, 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 bloop. And then I come in there. See? Told your ass, get up here, go to bed. Fell off the bed. Okay. You gonna sit your goof ass down this time now, right? You gotta learn the hard lessons. But I'm gonna always be there, be like, you know what? Hopefully you learn. Stop jumping on the bed. It ain't a mile wide. There ain't no safety net. I'm your safety net. Cause when I'm in there and she jumping on the bed, boop, 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 and she jump off, and my instincts, bam, grab her by her leg. She over on the side of the bed. Then I'm like, girl, I done told you quit jumping in the bed. But then after she didn't cry because she saw her life flash before her eyes before I caught her by her ankle, then I gotta love her. I gotta be like, you mine. I got you. I'm gonna protect you. But you gotta listen. Okay? Now, put your ass in that bed. lay down. I don't think we're not beating enough love into these kids, but this is abuse. What this girl going through, this is abuse. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a fine line between love and abuse. Okay? So I know I'm gonna have to deal with CPS at some point between now and the release of this video. But other than that, I love my kids, man, but I would never, ever, ever beat love into my kids like this. This because you don't make them do nothing but fur them. And I be like, you know what I hate the most? This is what I hate as a father. And I hate this because don't ever do me like that. When the kids' mom be like, because they my kids' mom. I don't got no baby mamas. We just related to the same kid. I'll be telling, they tell my kids, I'm going to call your daddy. You better chill out. I'm going to call your daddy. Oh, no, don't call daddy. Yeah, man. Because you know I come in. Hey, what you doing? What you doing? Why you do it? I'll be like, damn, why y'all so scared? Mama said you gonna whoop me. Mama said you. Girl, don't be telling them I'm about to come here and beat these kids. I come in the house, they all shook up because they think they getting a whooping. Because my mom used to do that to me. And I ain't want no whooping from my daddy because that whooping lasts till the next day at school. Okay. I wake up in the morning after getting a whooping from my daddy, man. I used to wake up in the morning like, damn. I feel like I feel my legs still numb. I'm like, damn. All right, them whoopings used to make you realize they make you don't forget. You do not forget. You be like, you be sitting in there, you be sitting in class about to say some dumb shit. Be like, and then my daddy's image will pop up next to the teacher with a belt in his hand. Like, I'm like, God damn, that must shut my ass up. See, but I don't want to put that into my kids. My daddy's ghost used to come visit me like Ebenezer Scrooge looking ass. I am your third ghost. Good Lord. But shout out to my dad, man. He was a good man. Still is a good man. Lives on through me. And, you know, I tell you what, one thing I could tell you about my parents and they love is that they had that for me. They had that for my sisters and my brother. They had that for my nieces and nephews and my children. They had it for the children around the neighborhood. They had it for my cousins. They had it for my cousins' cousins. They had it for everybody. Yeah. So, you know when you came to my house, you was going to get the same damn treatment. And it wasn't that it was bad. It was just my parents didn't play that mess. So, you know, everyday people, man, let me know what y'all parents think about this in the comments section. Because if y'all parents was anything like mine, then y'all realize what I'm talking about. If young people, they have no idea. Young people, they have no idea. Because we as parents kind of failed. Like, we didn't fail. Like, I ain't saying y'all good parents, but I'm saying the stuff that our parents put us through made us the parents we are today. And the reason why we don't do the things that our parents did, because we still feel like, man, that didn't solve nothing, because I still went and did what I did. But growing up, we knew if it was love or if they hated the hell out of us. And some people be like, some people with bad relationships with their parents, you can feel it, you can see it. They'll tell you, man, that my parents was trash. I'll be like, not mine. Not mine. We all got the same beatings, but we didn't get the same love. Okay? So there's a difference. Same beatings, different love. That's what I'm gonna call this. Same beatings, different love. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.